Under Justin Trudeau's watch, a massive national security failure occurred at the Winnipeg lab, Canada's highest security lab. Just to recap, two scientists at the lab were agents of Beijing. They clandestinely transferred materials from the lab to the Beijing regime and collaborated with the People's Liberation Army. CSIS concluded that their actions pose a very serious and credible danger to the Government of Canada. Now Parliament is holding hearings to get to the bottom of how this massive national security failure happened under Justin Trudeau's watch. Mark Holland was the first witness. He's Justin Trudeau's health minister. When he came to committee, he claimed that Justin Trudeau's health agency, which was responsible for overseeing the lab, including these two scientists, at all times acted appropriately. And that when it comes to accountability, there will be no accountability. Nobody will be fired, according to Holland. So let me walk through how Justin Trudeau's health agency handled this major national security failure after serious red flags were raised, and you be the judge of whether Justin Trudeau's health agency acted appropriately. As early as August of 2018, there were red flags that these two scientists were potentially agents of Beijing. The head of the Winnipeg lab even raised this with CSIS. What did Justin Trudeau's health agency do in the face of that? In October of 2018, Justin Trudeau's health agency entered into an agreement at the initiation of one of the two scientists, Dr. Chu, to transfer Ebola and Hennepa to the Wuhan Institute of Virology. In other words, Justin Trudeau's health agency entered into an agreement to transfer two of the most deadly pathogens to the Beijing regime at the request of a scientist that they knew was a potential agent of the Beijing regime. And not only that, it took months before Justin Trudeau's agency launched an investigation. Remember, red flags were issued in August of 2018. It wasn't until December of 2018 that an investigation was launched. Finally, in March of 2019, an investigation report was issued, and it found that indeed these two scientists were potential agents of Beijing, that they had engaged in multiple intellectual property and security breaches, and that they had collaborated with the People's Liberation Army. What did Justin Trudeau's health agency do with that information? Did they fire the scientists? No. Did they restrict their access to the lab? No, they didn't do that either. Instead, literally 1 week later, Justin Trudeau's health agency actually transferred 15 strains of Ebola and Hennepa to Wuhan. You can't make this stuff up. And not only that, these scientists, which Justin Trudeau's health agency at that point, as of March, knew definitively was collaborating with Beijing, with the People's Liberation Army, continued to have unfettered access to the lab. This is Canada's highest security lab. It's a lab that handles some of the most deadly pathogens and protects some of Canada's most sensitive biological secrets. And here you have agents of Beijing working there freely and on an unrestricted basis. It wasn't until July of 2019, nearly 1 year after initial red flags were raised, that the two scientists, agents of Beijing, were finally marched out of the Winnipeg lab. So in the face of all of that, Mark Holland's claim that Justin Trudeau's health agency at all times acted appropriately is patently absurd. After 3 years on part of Justin Trudeau and his government to try to cover up this massive national security failure, including by withholding the Winnipeg lab documents from Parliament and from Canadians, Mark Holland's claim is just another attempt on the part of Justin Trudeau's government to avoid responsibility and accountability by defending the indefensible, and it tells you everything you need to know about Justin Trudeau's government's complete failure to protect Canada's national security in the face of the very real threat posed by the Beijing-based communist regime.